Hey, what is up, guys? This is gonna be my first what if video, and I think I'm gonna be doing what if Deku had a warp gate quirk. Now we're gonna be starting this quirk. My bad. We're gonna be starting this what if off with Deku at the age of 4. He woke up super bright and early. He woke up in the morning because he was excited because his mom had told him they were gonna do his quirk test this day. He ran into his mom's room, woke her up, and Inko was quite tired, so she kind of begged Izuku to let her go back to sleep. She slept. Izuku left her alone for 30 minutes before coming barging back into her room, waking her up again to where she decided to just get ready and make Izuku breakfast. This is when they then leave for the quirk doctor. When they get there, the quirk doctor does all the tests. Oh yeah, and this is not Dr. Uchiko. But the quirk doctor does all the tests and ends up telling Inko and Izuku that he has a very powerful quirk. The doctor says, after you have told me your quirk and your husband's quirk, it seems like he has a complete mutation of your quirk, since his quirk is called Warp Gate. Warp Gate means he has the ability to create wormhole-like things that, when you go through, teleport you to a different area where there is another portal. He does not have to be in that area at one point for him to set a portal there. He can simply open a portal one area and pop out the other. Or, for the cost of a little more energy, he can simply teleport. Well, the warp gate pretty much takes no energy, but full-on teleporting takes away a bit of his energy. This is a very powerful quirk, and I believe your son can become a very powerful hero. This is what the doctor would go on to say to Inko. Then we skip to the next day. Izuku is now in daycare, and while he's in daycare, all the kids are crowded around someone, and this is Bakugo. And they're all crowded around Bakugo. So Izuku, thinking it's cool, decides he's gonna go check what they're looking at, because he's curious and wants to see it. So he walks over to see Bakugo in the middle of all of them, shooting explosions from his hands. Izuku thinks it's very cool. Bakugo, not noticing Izuku, shoots an explosion at him. But then Izuku, being scared, thinking that he wishes he was behind Bakugo, accidentally sets up a warp gate below himself, which then teleports him to behind Bakugo. All the other kids see what he just did and think it's super cool. And even so does Bakugo. Bakugo, even in a slight bit of his mind, thinks that maybe his quirk is even better than mine. Then Izuku explains his quirk. We skip 4 years. Deku and Bakugo are now 8. They're best friends. They always train together every day. Okay, and Bakugo is very strong, seeing as Izuku is to challenge him. Bakugo's speed has been what has improved the most, seeing as, well, Izuku can teleport, so if Bakugo wants to keep up with him and even be able to hit him, he's going to need to be fast. So Bakugo's speed has improved a lot, and he's now around his Season 3 speed. Okay, so, and I think that's a good level for Bakugo if he's with someone who can, well, zoom around everywhere. Because if he can teleport, make wormhole. So I think it's that saying that Bakugo has his Season 3 speed is good. I would have said that he has either his Season 5 or Season 6 speed, but I think that's just a bit too much, just to where that no one at this current moment would be a challenge for Bakugo. But I think his Season 3 speed is a fine spot to put him at for having a friend who can teleport, who you're fighting against constantly. Okay, now we see what Deku has. He now has created a few moves, where he'll create a portal behind someone, and he'll punch through it. Or he'll create a portal under them, that sends them into the sky, leaving them disoriented. He's found a way to use his portal for a lot of cool things. And in this timeline, Deku has a bit of a sense of pranks, so he likes pulling a lot of pranks. Like, if his teacher sets down his coffee, Izuku was teleported away to somewhere else, like the back of the classroom, or just to the back of the classroom, making the teacher wonder where it's gone. And Izuku's very good at playing it off like it wasn't him, even though the teachers sometimes realize that it is him. But that's so few and far between that they don't realize that it's always him, which is why he doesn't get in trouble for all of them. Bakugo still has like a similar personality. He's just humbled a bit, so he does still get into quite a few fights, which Deku helps him with. Okay, and this is when they're at the age of, I know I said 8, but I think with what I was saying, that's no. I'm just going to say this is when they are at the age of 15, I think is when they go to UA. So they're at the age of 15. Now we go to the entrance exam. Izuku's mom drops him off as he walks into the building with Bakugo. He doesn't trip this time, meaning no interaction with Uraraka. During the assembly, I guess, Ida still complains about the robots and how one of them is not there, and how that it's horrible on Yui's part. But Deku isn't mumbling, so he doesn't get brought into it. So he kind of just stays quiet while thinking in the back of his head, that kid should really shut up, as he cut off the teacher from explaining fully. Okay, then when we go to the actual portion of the exam, we see that Izuku, as soon as they open the gate and say, "There is no countdown in a real battle! Go, 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 go!" As soon as President Mike would say that, Izuku instantly teleports in with a warped gate and teleports 10 3-point robots into the sky. Then when they land, they completely get destroyed, meaning Deku's now at 30 points. And Deku also manages to get warps behind robots, punching them before, then teleporting in front of them, punching them, and kind of just doing that, where he's kind of just teleporting all around them, teleporting them to the sky, to destroy the robot. Okay, we go to the end, where Principal Nezu decides to call Izuku to his office. As Izuku walks over to President Mike says, "Okay, come on," as he takes Izuku to the principal's office. When Izuku's there, he sees All Might and Nezu, which also, by the way, there was no sludge villain in this timeline. There was no sludge villain incident. So, as Izuku then sees All Might, he gets super excited, like, "All Might, you're my hero! Can I have your autograph?" As he's not cocky, but he's more confident in this timeline, and guess has a bit of a Bakugo personality. Not where he's screaming die, but he is very confident, and he doesn't let people push him around. But when it comes to All Might, he's still a big fanboy, so he would still have like that same, "Oh my god, it's All Might" reaction and asking for his autograph and everything. And that's where Principal Nezu says, "All Might would like to make you an offer, young Izuku." As then All Might's like, "Young Izuku," as then All Might pretty much explains his injury and like explains his quirk, and he's like, "Young Izuku, with your teleport quirk and how I see you you teleport behind people and punch them where they don't know, or instead of portals. Your punches pack a lot of punch for someone who doesn't have a physical quirk that allows them to enhance their strength. But if you got one, I believe you would be able to become the #1 hero easily." Okay, and Izuku's confused, as he only knows about the injury, not the quirk. And then All Might says, "Young Izuku, would you like my quirk?" As Izuku here is shocked, thinking, "You can't, what? How would I get your quirk?" As All Might then explains his quirk. As Izuku is shocked, thinking, "Oh my god, All Might's offering me his quirk?" He would accept, thinking that might just be the boost he needs. Because thinking that might just be the boost he needs. So he accepts. And then All Might says, "Okay." As All Might asks Izuku to take off his shirt. As at first, Izuku's a little weirded out, and then All Might says, "It's just I need to see if your body is fit enough for this quirk." Okay, and then Izuku lifts up his shirt, and All Might sees that, well, Deku is very fit, because him and Bakugo work out a lot, so he's definitely fit enough for the quirk. He's fit, very fit. Okay, also guys, I know in the main story you have to be quirkless to get all the other quirks of One for All, but I'm just gonna say that I'm just gonna not go through that, because I want Izuku to be as strong as possible. So he's not gonna be having that. He will still be getting the other quirks that come with a one for all. Yeah. So that's gonna be happening. Now, All Might says here, young Izuku, as he plucks a piece of hair from his head, as Izuku's like, what am I meant to do with this? All Might says, eat it. As Izuku's kind of grossed out, not wanting to eat it, but he ends up eating it anyways, because, well, that's the way he has to get All Might's quirk. He'll do it. So he eats it, and then he's like, oh, I don't feel anything. And then All Might's like, it takes a while. It has to digest first. Suzuka's like, okay, All Might. So he then just starts to wait. Okay, and then after a while, Izuku feels funny. His hand starts feeling weird. As he does as then All Might's like, ah, I see, you have awakened my quirk. Now, to use it, you have to clench your butt cheeks and scream, smash! As Izuku, being very smart, thinks, and All Might already warning him about what can happen if he goes full power, he decides he's going to try and regulate himself. So he ends up actually regulating himself to around, let's say, 35%. And this is where Izuku, he does it, and his arm isn't broken, it's not fractured. There's simply a bit of pain in his arm. So above 25% and above will cause his arm to feel pain. But other than that, he will be fine for using anything 25 or less. And if you guys think this is a stretch, tell me in the comments. But I think it's fine because he's been training with Bakugo, which means for all his life, which I think would mean he's more fit than the one in canon, and the one at the end of the story, if anything, I guess, because that one has only been training for a year still, while this one has been doing it for multiple years with the right diet and everything. So I think it would be more fit. So I think he would be able to at least handle 25% of the quirk. As that's when Deku asks All Might to spar. As All Might decides to agree, since he's his successor, and All Might will obviously hold back a lot. As they get into this fight, as All Might's, okay, young Izuku, are you ready? As Izuku says, yes, I'm ready, All Might. As they start to fight, Izuku creates a warp gate below All Might, which makes All Might teleport right in front of him. And then Deku instantly delivers a punch straight to All Might's stomach, before then teleporting behind him and sending a punch to the back of his head. All Might manages to dodge that attack, guessing that's what he was gonna do. But then Izuku teleports above All Might, using his leg to kick the top of All Might's head. All Might gets sent flying, but then runs at Izuku, grabbing his arm and throwing him into a wall. Right before he was about to hit the wall, Izuku manages to teleport away, before teleporting beside All Might and trying to jab the side of his stomach. Obviously the other side that doesn't have his injury. Okay, but then All Might dodges and grabs young Izuku and gets him not in a chokehold, but like in a hold. Right, so Izuku starts saying, "I forfeit, you win." As All Might's like, "Congratulations, Izuku, you managed to make me. You managed to deal damage, and it's a very good fighting style. I think you would. That's a very good fighting style." Okay, so that. But I forgot to mention this, but Nezu has already told Izuku that he's made it into UA, and that's where we're gonna be leaving it off for this, I guess, part? Yeah, I guess this part 1 of What If Izuku Had a Warp Gate. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye!